Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Don't know why, I don't think I've seen this movie yet. Out to dinner with my father-in-law, and he watches a couple of movies. Sometimes he checks out my movie reviews, sometimes he doesn't. But he said to me, did you ever see Get the Gringo? And I know I've heard of it, and I know Mel Gibson's in it, and I can't find a rating on it from me. And I don't think I've ever seen it. So we're going to go back to 2012 and we're going to watch Get the Gringo. Obviously starring Mel Gibson. The story is about Mel Gibson, who is a career criminal. He gets thrown into a Mexican prison, and evidently some boy helps him survive in this Mexican prison. You know what the synopsis is. I don't know. That's basically what I've read. IMDb at a 7.0 and Rotten Tomatoes, 81% from the critics, but the users are only at 68%. I'm going to get into it a little bit. Now check back in early to let you know truly what the synopsis is, and then give you what my thoughts are. Stick with me. Be back in a little bit. All right. Hey everybody, I'm going to do a quick check-in here. We're watching Get the Gringo, and I realize I don't think I have seen it. 42 minutes and 42 seconds into the movie. How about that? That was luck of the draw there. And a little bit more on the synopsis. Mel Gibson is actually a clown in the beginning, and he is running from the United States police towards the Mexican border. Seems as though he had robbed a bank and has some money on him, big bags of cash. He ends up jumping the fence into Mexico, and as the cops come over, they say, we'll take care of this, to the Mexican police, and Mexican police originally say okay, and then they look in the car and they see all the money and they say no, we'll take it from here. And they're like, okay, well, if you're going to take him, we want to make sure that justice is done and that we never see him again. So the Mexican police throw Mel Gibson in a Mexican prison and take all the money for themselves and start having a good time. So he's in the Mexican prison, and it's a little different than the American prisons. The people are allowed to bring in their families. It's a mixed prison. Husbands, wives, there's children in there. Children of the people who were sentenced to prison. So they're not in prison themselves, but they're living there. And it's like a little community. There's shops where you can stop and eat. And, it's not very nice and fancy, but there's a lot of different things there that you can do. And he becomes friends with the one kid who is growing up in this prison. And that's really what it's about. It's about how he's getting through the prison time and bonding with this kid who his father was killed by one of the people who runs the prison. Not the warden, but one of the prisoners who run the prison. So that's where we are right now. And so far so good. It's pretty entertaining. But not much more than that so far. So I think it's about to heat up in this last couple of minutes here. Well, not last couple of minutes, but we'll see. And I'll check back in a little bit. All right, see ya. Hey, everybody. We're at the credits of Get the Gringo. It just ended, and it was okay. It was good. Not great. So to elaborate a little bit more on what the movie was about, as I mentioned, Mel Gibson gets sent to a Mexican prison and becomes friends with a younger boy. And the younger boy actually, there's a boss who runs the entire prison, a prisoner who runs a prison, not the warden. And that boss needs a liver. And he had killed another man and taken his liver so that he can continue to survive. Well, that man, it's his son who becomes friends with Mel Gibson. I think he's 10 years old. But they're the same blood type, so he's going to need a new liver, and he's going to need it from this kid eventually at some point. And so the kid is kind of protected, and Mel Gibson and the kid are kind of working together. The kid also wants to get revenge for his father's death from this kingpin kind of guy. And Mel Gibson and him are working together, and just as they go along life in prison. And they become friends and things like that. And eventually it comes to the point where the kingpin boss needs his now liver for one reason or another. Not to go into too much detail and ruin the entire movie for you. But so, there's that aspect going for it. So, also, as I had mentioned, the two cops, the Mexican cops who had stole the money from Mel Gibson, who obviously stole it from somebody else, are running around town now with all this money. So you can see that there's a lot of plot lines that you can pull from this movie that go down different paths, but are all related back to Mel Gibson and what he's got to do. So, he's trying to survive in prison, trying to take care of this kid, help this kid out a little bit, and also keep his eye on the money that he stole, and can he eventually get it back. So, I don't think I did see this before. I'll have to check on my Netflix ratings, because that's where I would have seen it. This one I watched on Amazon Prime. It's free on Prime. An hour and 36 minutes. Some of the small criticism about the movie. It's enjoyable. Anything with Mel Gibson in it's great. And it's some small twists and turns and stuff like that. I don't know that much about Mexican prisons, except for some things I've seen, and they're very harsh, and dangerous, and you never want to go to one. This one seemed more like a mall. I think Mel Gibson says that in the beginning. It's kind of like one of the dirtiest malls ever, but you know what I mean? Like, people are living fine, drugs galore. I get that happens in prison, but I mean, men and women in there together, families in there together. They have a shop where he sits down and eats like normal and leaves a tip on the table and gets up and leaves and continues on to his little prison thing. It's a little far-fetched. I mean, at least from my eyes, maybe it is really like that. And, a lot of things happen in this movie that are really far-fetched. So, going into that, I think that'll help you if you watch this one, knowing that it's some of the things are not realistic and a little absurd in a sense. But I think it makes it for a more fun movie, if you will. But other than that, it was entertaining. There was action. There was, like I said, a couple little twists here and there, and a typical Mel Gibson type movie. So check it out. Let me know what you think. I'm going to go ahead. I'm probably going to give it a 6, maybe a 7. I'm probably going to. I wish I had points. 6.5 for me. Got to round up to a 7, but I don't know if I want to. Doesn't really matter. You get the idea where I'm at with this film. One of the other things, real quick, if you do watch it on Amazon Prime, I'm watching this movie and there was no subtitles. There's a lot of Spanish speaking, and I don't understand Spanish fluently. So I struggled with that in the beginning, and I thought maybe that was part of the movie, that as an American, Mel Gibson, in a Mexican prison, he might not understand Spanish. So he has a hard time understanding what's going on. And then he wanted you to feel that as well. I thought, oh, okay, maybe that's what it is. And I'm trying to figure it out. But then it got so far along that it was like, okay, Mel Gibson's not even around. At least the movie goers should know what it is. And I eventually got it on. I turned it on once and nothing happened. So I was like, okay, maybe there are no subtitles. I fiddled with it a little bit more after that 42-42 break that we took, and I ended up getting it to work. So if you're watching Amazon Prime and your subtitles don't come on, stick with it, go back in the options and turn them on. It makes it a little bit better. That's the only advice I have for that. I'm not going to go on any longer. It's enough. KimmelsIrishPub.com. Get the Gringo. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that jazz. Tune in next time for another fantastic movie review. See ya.